Hello and welcome to my ass to your Q's. So, about a week and a half ago, I did a video talking about getting a PO box and also asking all of you to post some questions, if you had any, in the comment sections of that video. And if you missed the video, if you want to go check it out, it's on the channel. I figure it out. Some of the stuff I've talked about before, some of the stuff I've mentioned in passing, some of the stuff is in the FAQ, but I thought we'll just go through and I'll find some good stuff to talk about. Let me just sort of scroll through all the comments, questions about Jack for a minute. Let me just, you know, just gonna keep going for a while until we hit a point of it's not plugged in. It's a prop, it's a ruse. Dilla Sheza says, I'm just gonna go straight to my question, so here we go. Q, there's two. Is it questions? If you not being an editor / animator, what would be your job now? And also, what did you do on your spare time? If I wasn't doing animations and editing and all this stuff, I would probably be working in 3D graphics, since that is what my education is in. I studied animal care, first of all, when I was done with elementary school. Because in Sweden we do elementary school, which is 9 grades, year 1 through 9. And then you do 3 years usually of a profession school, where you pick a thing that you want to do, a thing that interests you, a thing that you don't really, necessarily have to do for the rest of your life, because at that point in time you're about 16 through 18. So you pick something that interests you and you study that. I studied animal care, which was fun. I mean, I got to go to New Zealand for a month and do some work at a marine park, which was cool, but obviously it's not the thing that I'm working with now. So after that, I studied 3D for 2 years, Maya, basically, basics of Maya, and to learn to navigate and use the software. And after I graduated that school, I was, I was 19 at the time. So I did that, and then I went straight to work, basically, with some commercial stuff here and there. I did some internships and some bits and pieces for an architectural firm. So I did sort of cleanup on technical models and house models and realistic renderings of products for ads, basically. But that was not really as creative as I would like to be. So I moved on from that to a store that were selling clothing that you could customize, and the point of that whole website was to be able to customize your clothing and then have them made for you. So basically you had 3D models of all the clothes and all the options and different colors and fabrics and blah 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 blah. So I did those models for about 4.5 years. At the same time I was doing the animations on the side, so I did have my sort of creative outlet, I guess, with that. But then I got really bored and bummed out by that job, and I hated being there, so I quit and did only the animations for about half a year, which, didn't cover any bills or anything, because animation on YouTube, as we all know. So I was living off my savings, and then I started working for Sean. So that's basically what I did, and what I probably would be doing still, not necessarily at the same place, but something to that capacity. Design, 3D, modeling products, game development, maybe? Something with 3D, probably. But thank you, Dilla Sheza, for your questions. Mac for a day. Mac for a day? PC forever. I know you probably won't answer this one since it's very personal, but do you have a love life? Mac, listen, I know many websites. Nice mug you got there. Thanks, Grulin. I'm assuming you're talking about my face. The Church of Ignorance. Wait, will you do mail opening videos like a fan unboxing? A fan unboxing? That sounds like you receive a fan and then you unbox. It's like when you get a camera, you do a camera unboxing. So are you mailing yourself? If there's anything in there, sure, but we'll see. If I do get a box and I don't know what's in the box, I'll probably film it And if it's a head in there, I'll probably not upload it. Little Septic Sam. What's the best thing about living in Sweden? Bonus question. Would you like to move to some other country? Well, I think, okay. Personally, for me, the best thing about living in Sweden right now in my daily life is probably the general technological standards, like cell reception and internet and like quality of media in general is pretty high here. The building I'm living in now, even without purchasing an internet plan, for example, you'd get just by living here, you'd get a 10 megabit internet broadband connection, high-speed connection. That just sort of comes with the place. And I think that internet connections nowadays in Sweden is a right, like a citizen right or something along those lines. So you're guaranteed high-speed internet wherever you live, basically. So I think, to me, right now, that is probably the best thing. But in general, I think I would say healthcare and education, because the fact that all of my educations that I have had, the animal care one and the digital 3D one, none of that has cost me anything. I didn't pay any tuitions. I didn't take out any loans to go to a specific school to do a specific thing or to learn anything. And most educations that you go to in Sweden, you'll actually get paid to do it, because if you can provide evidence, basically grades, if you can provide some sort of proof of study that you are attending a school and you're attending it regularly and you're not like skipping class and your grades are decent, you're passing by whatever standards the school is setting. If you can prove that, then you get a certain amount of money to live off of, basically, every month. Essentially, if you go to a school in Sweden and you can provide some sort of proof of study, then you get money to survive, which I think is just brilliant as a concept, because why wouldn't you want to encourage as much education as possible? So that, coupled with general like standards of living spaces, probably, because even like the cheaper apartments I had when I moved away from home and when I moved back here from staying at the school, the 3D school, which was a bit further up in Sweden, even those sort of cheaper apartments, they're fairly good. And couple that with free education and healthcare security, I guess, TLDR. I kinda do want to move to another country for the sake of having done it, for the sake of the experience, for the sake of getting to experience some other countries' cultures for more than, a week's vacation. And I'd like to move somewhere else to be closer to, people I know and people I can work with. Collaborations and movie shoots. Well, I say movie, video shoots would be a lot easier if people were in the same place. So for that reason, yeah, I'd like to move somewhere else. But probably not on a permanent basis, maybe for a few months or a year to do stuff, and then come back and, have a nice little chill period over here. So, those things I just said. To the question you asked, Little Septic Sam, thank you. Where did you learn to edit? Well, just in Vimeo. I didn't learn to edit anywhere. Well, I mean, here, I guess, in my old apartment. Everywhere. I never studied editing. I only tried it, I started it, and then I didn't stop. So now I know more than I did then, because that's how practice works. If you want to do a thing, start doing the thing, and then don't stop doing the thing. In a couple of years, you'll know sort of how to do the thing, and then you can enjoy the thing more, probably. Opossum Rick, can you give advice on how to get rid of keyboard and mouse sounds when recording Let's Plays? Do you have to cut these sounds out when editing? Well, no. That basically comes down to your mic quality, because if I were to now click my mouse, I'm clicking my mouse now. and I can tap on the keyboard now, it's probably not going to be too audible, but that sort of all depends on your mic. If you have a mic that's stood on your desk, you're gonna have real trouble with mouse and keyboard sounds, especially if you have a very wide open mic that picks up a lot of sound from everywhere. The Blue Yeti and mics of those caliber, like the USB mics, usually have a very wide spectrum. They try to pick up as much audio as possible from everywhere, just to sort of cover their bases of picking up audio. So if you have one of those mics, or sort of anything similar to that, that goes straight into USB, coupled with a desk stand, as in the mic is sitting somewhere on your actual desk, you're gonna have both audible and vibrations coming through from your stuff through to your mic. So if that's your situation, then I would recommend trying to pad the mic as much as possible, like putting a foam piece under like the mic stand, so you dampen the vibrations that the mic is receiving as much as possible. You can also run, I mean, I do that, and Sean does that. Everyone probably does it to some degree or other, but running noise cancellation is always advisable on basically any mic ever, because there's always going to be noise that's just there, from electrical hums to the mic just being on, picking up ambient whatevers. So running noise cancellation is good. Noise cancellation, if you're unsure of how to do it, record with your mic in silence. You know, don't say anything, don't do anything, just let it run for maybe 10 seconds, and then you'll have a noise clip. So you can analyze that if you're using Audacity, for example, which is free, by the way. That can analyze the noise patterns, and then it'll know what to filter out. But what I would recommend, if you have the budget for it, is a directional mic that's only picking up what's in front of it and not what's behind it. Because this mic is fairly good at that. It's picking up what's on this side and not what's on that side. So anything that's behind it, it's gonna pick it up to some degree, but not a lot of it. And the fact that it's also mounted on an arm that goes away and sits anchored at the edge of my desk, which is, you know, 3 feet away from my actual keyboard and stuff, all of that helps with eliminating those types of noises. So it's basically down to the type of mic you're using. This one is an SCE Electronics X1S. It's a condenser mic, and what condenser mics do is that they pick up audio that's on one side of them. So if you can get one of those, that's probably better, but this is also an XLR mic, which does require you to have an XLR sound card that then goes into your USB. So think about those things, but also as a means of immediate action, try to pad the mic as much as possible. And maybe get a quiet keyboard, hit carefully. Shh. Catherine Guiwier. Catherine, what's your favorite mythical creature? Dragons. Can't beat them. Literally. Unless you're a white walker, I guess. Danimal. How do you take your coffee? Hot and in my mouth. Ashith Hedge. If I ever happen to be visiting Sweden and happen to find you roaming the streets, it's like I'm a predator just out and about looking for gazelles to munch on. Can I get a hug, or maybe have a cup of coffee or eat a pizza with you? Well, a cup of coffee and pizza, I think that would be awkward. Not because I don't doubt that you're a very probably lovely person, but I would feel very awkward. A hug though, for sure. I love hugs. If anyone sees me at any like convention or anything, don't be afraid to ask for that, for sure. Also, you don't have to if you don't want to. I am very sticky and smelly most of the time. Oh, alien. What are you most afraid of people finding out? Miss Danny Doodle, what's up? What's my favorite video game and why? I think, okay, so my favorite video game, I think out of all of time ever, would be Super Mario World for the SNES. Mainly because It's one of the first games. I think it's if not the first, it's at least the second first game that I remember ever playing. It was that one and Donkey Kong Country for the SNES. Donkey Kong Country and Super Mario World and Pokemon Yellow are the three games that I remember playing first, or like the earliest of them all. I don't know when they all came out in relation to each other, but I do remember that when I was very young, me and my brother together got an SNES with Donkey Kong and Super Mario World for Christmas as like a shared gift to us both. And I remember me and my dad played Donkey Kong Country a lot together, like 2-player. My brother was a little bit too young at the time. He's 4 years younger than me, and I think I was like, maybe 7? So he'd be pretty tiny, and he was mainly sitting on the floor eating yogurt and crying. But I do remember this one thing about Donkey Kong Country, especially, that there's this boss in, I think it's the third world or second world, where it's a giant bee anyway, and me and my dad was doing this level over and over, and we couldn't beat it together. Well, I probably couldn't, he probably could. Thing is, I woke up early one day, I went down to play alone, and I beat the boss. I won the game, I beat the level, and I ran up to my dad to tell him. I woke him up to tell him, because it was early in the morning, and I told him I was so happy about it. But then I also found out, like years later, that my mom and dad, before they gave us the Super Nintendo for Christmas, they had just opened it and played the games together themselves after we had gone to bed. So he had just done that already anyway. So that was fun. But, you know, that one or Super Mario World, I think, are my favorites, mostly for that reason, because of the nostalgia. But I think Super Mario World is just a game that I enjoy more than Donkey Kong, because I just like that sort of gameplay of the runny, jumpy feathers and Yoshi and all of that. So I picked that one. Caden Graham. I was wondering if you've ever thought about doing voiceover work. You have a very pleasing tone of voice. Thank you, Caden. I'm sure you do too. Say something. Wow. I mean, I have, in a sense, that I enjoy trying to narrate and do voices, but I also don't think that I really have, you know, the skills to do anything sort of professional or for someone else. Because when you're doing voice work, it's kind of like you don't just have to say the things, you also have to say them in a specific way, or with a specific inflection, or in a specific tone, or trying to convey a specific emotion, you know? So if you're doing voice work for animation or for something along those lines where you need to be a character or sell some sort of tone or emotion or line in a specific way, then you have to be able to say it in certain ways that convey this emotion, be it happy, sad, angry, whatever, through just your voice. And I think that's one of the hardest thing to do, and one of the most impressive things to me in general about voice acting is when you can tell from just the voice what the character would look like. And when it comes to voiceover work in general, I mean, I do have an accent still, so you'd probably usually want someone with a very clear, like, American accent or a British accent to sound sort of neutral English, which I don't think I can do. So as much as I think it's fun, I don't think I would be good enough in those senses or those cases. Sam J, Boop, no, Kaza, who's my favorite YouTuber. I don't think I have a favorite YouTuber, singular. I mean, I think it sort of depends on mood, and it sort of depends on what you're feeling like watching. If you're feeling like watching something, you know, quick and goofy and funny, that's one thing. And then if you want to watch something informative, you watch something else. And if you want to watch vlogs, you watch Casey Neistat. I mean, there's so many different sort of aspects to YouTube that I don't think that I have one specific type or favorite YouTuber or channel. But I would say that Hat Films is definitely one of my top, if not my top, general favorite that I would, if I had to pick one, I'd say that is my favorite channel. But, you know, Tested, Adam's one day builds, I love watching because anything with Adam Savage in it is he's so passionate and positive and inspiring that you just want to make things. You just want to do stuff when you see him. So for like stuff like that, I love Tested. For stuff like vlogs, I like Case and Istat. For stuff like funny gaming videos and also vlogs, very well done, shot, edited vlogs, and general comedy stuff, I like Hat Films. As you might be able to tell by my shirt and my mug. So those, I think I'd say. I really enjoy Mark Brown's Game Maker's Toolkit, and I enjoy YMS movie reviews. What else is there? Captain Dissolution is a very good informative channel as well, with very high standards for sort of production value and effects. So I recommend those. Yakedsoke. Yakedsoke? That's gotta be how you say it, right? With the little... Because you're supposed to emphasize the Yakedsoke, no? How old are you? Where were you born? And do you like Canadians? What? I mean, okay, I'm 28. I was born in Sweden. Do I like Canadians? Yes, but probably not all Canadians. I'm sure that there are terrible, horrible, and very mean Canadians, as there are people from any part of the world. So, sure. What's it like in Sweden? 6:14 p.m. Puppy Ralp. I like that name. I have a question. How long have you been doing photography to the point where you are right now? And how do you make those pictures that you post in that one blog you have? How long have I been doing photography? Well, I mean, that's the thing. These questions like that, like how long have you been editing? Or how long have you been doing this? Or how long have you been doing that? When did you start? Like, there's no like year. I can't like specify, okay, yeah, I started on May 23rd, 1996. Like, there's no like starting point. I've been doing it for as long as I can remember. I've been editing since I was a kid, and my dad was doing it, so I wanted to do it as well. You know, like how you walk after dad when you're a kid with a little plastic lawnmower when he's mowing the lawn for realsies, because you want to be a grown up, you want to be a big boy. So I've been editing video since I was a kid for probably 20 years, and I've been doing photography for probably 20 years. Of course, not good photography. I started taking pictures with whatever I had and thought, hey, this is funny. This is fun to do. And then I probably bootlegged like Photoshop 9 or something. I remember having a disc that said Adobe on it. I don't even remember where I got it. I just remember a white disc that said that on it. So probably, let's say, I've been doing photography with a proper camera, like a DSLR, for 10 years? Maybe 15? I'd like to do more video. I don't know, like the problem is that I don't have anything to do videos of. I don't have any subject to shoot. I don't have an event or anything to film. Photography is easier because you only need to have a still image subject, and you can do that with anything, you know? But a video has to be interesting. It has to be about something. So I'd like to do more video, but it's harder to do video. And photography, as it is right now, it started because I wanted to take photography. I wanted to do photography. I wanted to have some pictures to edit because I wanted to do more Photoshop. I wanted to learn Photoshop, but I didn't have anyone else to take pictures of me, and I didn't have anyone else to take pictures of. So that's how sort of my self-portrait photography developed, I guess. But it's been, let's say, 15 years. Casper the Ghost. What got you interested in editing? Well, I kind of mentioned this earlier as well, but it's basically because of my dad. Because my dad works in video production. Generally, he's been doing this for all of my life. He started out as a theater actor, sort of a movie actor, a TV actor, a general, I guess, actor for most things in Sweden. And he started moving off of that into more video shooting. I've done some camera work with him in the past when he needed other camera boys, a camera boy, I guess I was at the time. But that's sort of where I got interested more and more in it. I started doing 3D because I didn't have any videos or pictures to edit or to cut up into a video. So I had to make something from nothing. But that's sort of the general, I guess, appeal for me, is to make something that, you know, can appeal to people and can convey emotions and be something that's interesting and engaging to watch or to look at from pieces or nothing, in the case of 3D, I guess, from an idea, I suppose. It's sort of like a jigsaw, you know? You have all the bits and pieces of information and sort of snippets of maybe video, pictures, or whatever, and then you have to figure out how to put them together, and then you make something. And I think that the cool thing is that most people have a very different style. Most people have a specific style that if you make something and then you give the same footage to someone else and they make something, the result is going to be different, right? So you're not going to end up with the same video just because you started out with the same pieces. And I think that's very fun to see. That's very interesting. Just look at all like the PAX videos. Everyone does a PAX video, but not every PAX video is the same, even though everyone went to the same PAX. So stuff like that, I think it's fun. Power Nerd Nikki, what was your favorite thing to do as a child? Probably play video games. That's the only thing that I can remember always doing. I mean, I'm sure, I remember I was really into Jurassic Park and archaeology and dinosaurs. So I remember really liking to dig stuff up. Like if you get like a toy and you bury it and then you brush it off, like little tiny brushes, a little spatula here, a little shovel there, and oh wow, there it is. Wow, I found something, you know, stuff like that I did when I was a kid. But in general, probably video games. Jared says, what sort of games do you like to play on your own when you're not recording? Huh. I mean, I play a lot of the games that I record. I also play on the site, like Far Cry, for example, or GTA, which I've recorded. It was a long time ago, but when I recorded that, I still played it in my spare time. And the same with God of War. I've done like a lot of like side missions and stuff, and I streamed all of like the story elements of it. But I think that most of the games that I play in my own time is stuff where you don't have to do a lot, like stuff where you dick around, like fishing in Far Cry, or just flying an airplane in Far Cry, or driving cars and driving helicopters in GTA. Just stuff where you can just play around and do nothing in particular, basically. In God of War, I just paddled about in the boat and checked out places, just explored. Whenever I've played World of Warcraft, which I don't do a lot, but I've done on and off since vanilla, I mainly explore. Same with No Man's Sky. When I for the brief moment I played that, I just went around in my little spaceship and looked at things. So usually that's what I do, but also that's very boring to watch probably, so I don't record or stream that because it's just me sitting here going, whoa. For 3 hours. Purple Mountain Meow? If cubes went illegal, would your characters have balls for head or perhaps triangular prisms? If cubes went illegal, my characters would still have cubes for heads. Jakey Lando, how do you stay so motivated? I don't. I'm not always motivated. I very often get demotivated and I don't want to do anything. But, you know, having a job, you still have to do your job because that's what being a professional and responsible adult means. But when it comes to like animations and recording my own things, I'm not always motivated. I'm kind of very rarely motivated. And the videos that I post on this channel is usually stuff that I record when I have a burst of motivation, maybe I record 3 in one day, and then I don't record anything for 2 days or 3 days, and then there's just a gap sometimes because I don't feel motivated, especially if I have a lot of other work to do. When I'm done with that, I'm just drained mentally and creatively, and I don't want to do anything else. So I end up not recording anything, and it's usually, you know, evening time. I like to, if I record, when I record, I like to do it early in the day so that I have it sort of done and I have the motivation and energy to put some time into the editing process. But I'm not always motivated. I think the main point to take away is to capitalize on the times when you are motivated, because I don't think that you can trigger motivation to happen like that when you want it to. I think inspiration and motivation just sort of happen when your body decides to, and that's when you gotta like capitalize and take care of it, do it, use it to make something. Susanna McQueen asks, have you ever thought about doing editing tutorials? Probably not tutorials, because editing is very like subjective and it's very depending on your footage. I might do something along the lines of effects, sort of breakdowns to show off how things are made, mainly because I kinda don't like the term movie magic when it's being used, because if it sort of implies that, you know, it's a wand, it's a wave of wand, it's a boop and Wingardium Leviosa, and then it happens and it's just there. When, you know, in actuality, it's years of skills and dedication and education and hours and months and weeks and years of hard work. If it was actual movie magic, then it would say, Avengers, Infinity War, The End, cast list, on-set movie magician, Jessica Krim. Oh, okay, the end, bye. Time to leave the theater. No, you see all those people there? That's what it takes. That's why it takes 4 years to make a movie. So I kind of want to do breakdowns of effects and things that I do, just to sort of show the source and then the effect and then how it's combined and the end result. Just go to Video Copilot basically and just watch their tutorials. That's how I learn everything I know about After Effects. Okay, this video has been going on for quite a while. Lightning round. Is YouTube editing your full-time job? Yes. What kind of music do you listen to? Random shit. Are you dating anyone? Nope. Thoughts on Infinity War? I liked it, especially the ending. Does pineapple belong on pizza? If you like pineapple on pizza, then yes. Otherwise, no. It depends on who the pizza is for. What's your favorite snacks candy? Crunchers Bar and Sour Patch Kids. Do I use different equipment for photography and filming? Nope. It's the same thing. It's this camera, a Fujifilm X-T20. Any place you'd like to travel? Japan. Eurovision! No. Can you play more A Way Out with Jack? That's him. That's his channel. Go ask him. Can we see your house? I sure hope so. Otherwise, it's kind of awkward when I go to the bathroom and you can't actually see the house. You just see me 2 stories up in midair because I live in a flat. So it's kind of awkward. And if the people who live below me can't see the house either, then they'll look up and then that wouldn't be good. It's like a case of Emperor's New House. Did you cut your own hair? Yes, have done for 10 years. How'd you do anti? I edit. What's the meaning of life? To leave the place you're in a better state than you found it? How'd you decide to become a YouTuber? I didn't. I just decided that I like making videos, and then I had to upload them somewhere. Do you have any siblings? Yes, a brother, 4 years younger. I said this already. Keep up. How long does it take to edit a video? Depends on how long the video is. Can I be in the next Q&A? Okay, but not this one though. And last but not least, the first comment left on the video. Nice video, bro. I'm from India. Alright, that was an hour and 12 minutes of me replying to comments. Let's see how long this will be when I've edited it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you got your asks answered, and if you didn't, I'm sorry. I could technically get to everyone, but it would be a very long video and I would be very tired. But I'll do more of these in the future, or, you know, you could always stop by our stream, and maybe if you have a question you want answered, ask it then. Alternatively, do it on Tumblr. Alternatively, I'll see you some other time, probably. Unless I die, or you die, or we all die, we're gonna die. But in case we don't, see you around. And until next time, do take care. Goodbye.